Hey guys, we are starting a new book today since we finished Masterminds Part 1 last week. We are going to go ahead and read Masterminds Part 2. I'm so excited. This book follows the same technique as the previous one where each chapter is written from a different perspective. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in. So chapter 1 is going to give a little bit of an overview of things that we already know. I think probably in case people that haven't read the first one pick this one up to read. So that is going to have a little bit of some stuff that we already know, but that's okay. Okay, chapter 1 is from Eli. I see your taco and raise you half a cheeseburger. I peer at my cards. I've got a pair of kings and a pair of eights. It's a pretty good hand, I think. Then again, I only learned the rules of poker 20 minutes ago. I'm from Serenity, New Mexico, where nobody plays poker because it's gambling. Trust me, that's far from the weirdest thing about the place. Come on, Eli, in or out? Randy Hardaway demands. He's from Serenity too, but he's been here in the real world for a couple of months already, so he knows a lot more than I do about things like poker. The third player, Malik Bruder, tosses his cards on the carpet. Forget it, I quit. You're supposed to say I fold, Randy corrects. Whatever, let's eat, I'm starving. It's not food, it's our steaks, Randy insists. If we eat it now, we've got nothing to bet with. When the game's over, it can be food again. I laugh. But by then, you'll have won it all. And if I'm in a good mood, I might even consider sharing it with you. Now let's play. With a plastic knife, I saw off a piece of my own burger and placed it in the styrofoam takeout container that's serving as the pot. Fine, I say, turning my cards over. I have 2 pairs. Not good enough, Randy cackles, revealing his own hand. 3 sixes. You guys are such suckers. It's like you just graduated kindergarten yesterday. Ha! Malik snorts. Kindergarten is like New York City compared to the place we just blasted out of. Malik isn't even exaggerating about the blasted out part. We didn't just leave Serenity, we escaped from it on a speeding truck. It would have been a great story. Except that one of us, a kid named Hector, didn't make it. There's a knock at the door of Randy's room. The secret knock, which means Malik and I don't have to fight over who gets to hide under the bed and who has to squeeze into the jam-packed closet. We're not supposed to be at McNally Academy, Randy's boarding school. It's just the place we came to after we escaped. Randy was the only person we knew on the outside. He was sent away to school because he was getting too close to the truth about how our perfect community was a big lie. The door opens to admit Randy's roommate, Kevin, and another kid. The 2 of them are weighed down with bags and styrofoam containers. Good news, we got leftover pizza and some fried chicken. Kevin's eyes fall on the smorgasbord of food serving as poker stakes. Thanks a lot. We risk our necks raiding the cafeteria to feed your poor starving runaway friends, and you're using it to gamble with? We'll eat it, eventually, Randy explains. And don't forget, we need some for the girls. I stand up. We should take it over to them now. They're probably pretty hungry. I'll go with you, Malik decides. Maybe they'll feed me. And anyway, my mother always told me not to play with my food. He stops short, and I can tell he's thinking about home. He loved his parents, especially his mom, who babied him and treated him like he was a royal prince. That's not a problem I have. There was only my dad, and he turned out to be the ringleader of all Project Osiris. Him and his billionaire lady that none of us have ever met. Not that any of our parents are real parents, in the biological sense. What we are actually is clones, part of a twisted secret experiment. The whole town of Serenity was created just for Project Osiris. We were guinea pigs, lab rats. That's why we had to run away. It was our only chance at having actual lives. Randy isn't one of the clones, but in a way his life revolved around Project Osiris every bit as much as ours. When he got overly curious about why some of us were special, his own parents, which were real parents, chose to banish him to McNally rather than risk contaminating the experiment. That has to hurt. Nobody at McNally knows that besides Randy, and even he doesn't have the whole story. He knows we're clones, but he doesn't know who we're cloned from. I wish I didn't. We peer out of the door to make sure the coast is clear. We're good to go, Malik begins. Well, the noise isn't that loud, but it's almost like a mini earthquake. The building seems to resettle on its foundation. Kevin grabs the 2 of us, hauls us back into the room, slams the door, and locks it. Malik, who's a bigger guy, not used to being manhandled, dusts himself off. His jaw stuck out. What was that? I asked, a little shaken. Randy leads me to the window, and we peek through the Venetian blinds out to the front drive. A huge flag lies on the grass where no flag should ever be. 2 moving bumps scramble out and begin frantically trying to fold the billowing silk. This happens at least twice a week, Randy explains. The flag's gigantic and the pulley's broken, so the littler kids can't handle it. That's fascinating, Malik says. And I should care about this. Why? The answer to that becomes apparent when a short, fat man in a suit comes running over from the administration building waving his arms. We can't make out his words, but it's pretty clear that he's chewing up the kids for letting the flag touch the ground, which is a serious no-no. That's the headmaster, Mr. Ross, Kevin supplies, and if we were on our way to the girls' dorm, we'd be passing 20 feet in front of him. Just give him a few more minutes to go through the usual song and dance, Randy soothed. He's not a bad guy if you don't mind windbags. Reminds me of your old man a little bit. I almost tell him what he already knows, that my old man is a bad guy. Technically a mad scientist, but I can't say that in front of Kevin. Eventually the lecture is over and the flag gets folded up and put away for the night. When Mr. Ross goes back to the administration building, Malik and I gather up our food and hustle over to the girls' dormitory. We catch a couple of inquisitive looks from students on the way. According to Randy, there are rumors circulating about us. We're new arrivals and nobody's had a chance to meet us. We're friends and we're cousins on a break from a year-round school, or that we're foreign exchange students. The last one's my favorite, since there isn't a country on earth that's as foreign as Serenity, New Mexico. Luckily, the kids here are too wrapped up in their own lives to worry about us all that much, one way or the other. The people actually hiding us have the explanation closest to reality. Randy told them that we're runaways from his backward hometown. It's the truth, with a few important details left out. At room 122, I give the secret knock. No one answers. I knock again, louder this time. There are some scrambling sounds and the door cracks a little. We've got food, Malik says impatiently. You have 3 seconds to let us in, or I eat your share. Tori Patel rushes us inside. The room is smaller than Randy's, but nicer, with better furniture and satellite TV. It belongs to McNally's Academy nurse, who is on an exchange program at a school in Maryland for the next 3 weeks. The fourth member of our group, Amber Laska, doesn't even look up. She's completely engrossed in a news broadcast. We've all been a little media obsessed since leaving Serenity. Our TV, radio, and even internet were strictly controlled by Project Osiris. Any information about crime or conflict or violence was kept from us. Even the history we were taught left out unpleasant details like wars and revolutions. The only reason we knew about lying was so we could be told that nobody from Serenity ever did it. There was no secrets in Serenity. Well, except for the fact that the whole town was a secret, and we weren't supposed to find out about that. So, here we are, 4 escaped clones in the middle of a world that is an absolute mystery to us. We're kind of protected at McNally, but we can't stay much longer. Sooner or later, the rumors about us are going to reach the teachers. We spread our donated food for a picnic on the carpet. Malik picks up a stethoscope off the floor and holds it. What's this for? Must belong to the nurse, Tori replies, but we've been using it to listen in on the room next door. Spying on the neighbors, Malik chuckles disapprovingly, not very Serenity-like. It's not spying, Tori flushes. We're just trying to get a sense of what real kids talk about. And there's a lot of discussion about a person called The Bachelor. I think he might be in the government. Also Starbucks, that's a restaurant in Pueblo. It must be super fancy because all the things you can order have these long foreign names. Oh, and zombies. We haven't figured out what those are yet. Maybe jewelry? Sounds like some kinds of earrings, Malik suggests. Come on, let's eat. We dig in. Eventually the smell of lukewarm pizza gets through to Amber and she joins us. I just saw a report, she fumes, up between hungry bites, about people who get sick and they can't see doctors because they can't afford it. In what universe is that allowed to happen? This one, I tell her honestly, and it's probably not the hardest thing we're going to have to get used to. Well, that's wrong, she insists, getting louder. Shh, Tori cautions, we're supposed to be hiding. But in Serenity, Happy Valley was never a real place, Malik interrupts, using his pet name for our former hometown. It was a big petri dish, only more boring, and we were the germs that were growing in it. Basically, Project Osiris is a scientific study to determine if terrible people are born terrible or if their environments make them that way. Would evil kids raised in an isolated community where nothing bad ever happens still grow up to be evil? The problem is this. Where do you get evil babies? My father, Felix Frieden, actually, Hammerstrom, came up with a solution that's as awful as it is ingenious. You clone them from evil adults. Project Osiris took DNA from some of the worst criminal masterminds in the prison system and created 11 clones, the 4 of us. Poor Hector, and 6 others still in Serenity. If a sweet, wholesome upbringing can turn the scum of the earth into ordinary citizens, it proves that there are no bad people, only bad environments. We were never supposed to find out the truth about ourselves. Bad enough, the only parents we've ever known turn out to be the scientists who did this to us. Then there's a little detail that we are exact copies of some of the most depraved criminals ever. One of the boys anyway, is cloned from Bartholomew Glenn, the notorious crossword killer. It's impossible to be sure which. The pictures of him on the internet show a middle-aged inmate with a shaved head, wide staring eyes, and a crazed expression. None of us look like him, or maybe we all do. Fast forward a few decades, and one of us will for sure, which is pretty scary. As for the others, we can't even guess who they're cloned from, which is scarier still. The next few moments are devoted to the kind of serious eating perfected by Malik. Even Amber, who's always on a diet, is double-fisting pizza slices. It's a small thing, but it shows that we've shifted into fugitive mode. Fugitives eat like they don't know where their next meal will come from because they don't. When we first got to McNally, the stash of jelly beans hidden in Randy's underwear drawer was the first food we've seen in nearly 2 days. This is great, Malik mumbles, his mouth full. It isn't, Tori says thoughtfully. We just need it more. I'd give anything for Steve's jalapeno meatloaf right now. She calls her dad by his first name. The scientist she thought was her dad, I mean. Malik cocks an eyebrow at her, having second thoughts. She glares back. We left because we had no choice. We all get that. It doesn't change the fact that I miss my parents. Malik won't let it drop. The only parents we have are eyedroppers and test tubes. Leave her alone, Malik, Amber snaps. You know what she means. I speak up. This is pointless. Yeah, we miss certain things, but any of us get the chance to go back home, no questions asked. Who would take it? Dead silence. But what are we going to do? I mean, we can't stay here forever. Sooner or later, the teachers who run this place are bound to notice that they picked up a few extra kids. Malik snorts. I didn't bust out of Happy Valley to hang out in a place just as lame. I'm going to see the world. Amber makes a face. So that's all? We're just tourists now? Do you have a better idea? Justice. It's so simple. What happened in Serenity is a crime. We need to get to the police and get our parents arrested for what they did to us. Police, Malik spits. The only police we've ever known are the Purple People Eaters, and how much justice did they ever dish out? He's talking about the Serenity's police force, who are really just the enforcers for Project Osiris. You think the cops are any different? They could hand us right back to the Purples or arrest us for being clones. For all we know, that's against the law, and wait till they figure out who we're clones of. I have to agree. It's complicated. We can't go to the police until we know more about how things work in the outside world. And don't forget, there are 6 others like us still in Serenity, Tori puts in. They deserve a chance at a real life every bit as much as we do. But no pressure, Malik says, sarcastically. There's a sharp rap at the door and everyone freezes. It's not the secret knock. Is somebody there? Calls an adult voice. Then we hear the sound of a key in the lock. We're galvanized into action. Tori disappears into the closet with what's left of the pizza. Amber scoots under the bed with the rest of the food. I try to roll under there too, but Malik beats me to it, and I bounce off his bulky form. The doorknob turns, and there I am, still out in the open. The thought that I escaped from Serenity only to be caught in a random dorm inspection lends my feet wings. I literally fly to the bathroom and dive into the tub, pulling the curtain closed. There are footsteps and the teacher's voice again. I could have sworn I heard someone in here. The door opens and closes. The footsteps die away in the corridor. And a moment later, the 4 of us are staring at each other. The crisis is over as quickly as it began, but the feeling of being close to disaster has not yet gone away. Maybe it never will. Alright guys, that was the end of the first chapter in our new book. I hope you all enjoyed it.